because their immune level is still low, the immune status, their body defense is still very low. So we find that children are most at risk, of coming down with diarrhea disease, which is a very killer disease. Like I've mentioned, in the whole world, it's the second top killer among children under 5. So in that kind of community, I know children will be most vulnerable to that kind of practice, where people use this same source for drinking, for bathing. Even I can tell you some people also use it for, as their means of passing stool, disposal of stool. So these are the things that happen in that kind of community, which is very dangerous.
In Akure, the Ondo State capital, the picture looks even brighter. Potable water may not be readily available at every location, but with some amount of money it can be purchased.
No see water to fish. Even our pump for street, it don't spoil finish. May help us do them, I beg. Even our children, if we prepare to go into school, see water to use. I beg, may help us. Even my children self, if they carry son, walk out up and down, find water, see. He come last week, he don't land and say, Mama, I feel malaria, I feel headache. Now up and down water, now he cause her.
We are suffering about this water. I come from all the way from Okero, and where we can see neat water to drink is when we reach this Ikere River. I see that everybody full here to searching for good water to drink. So I appeal to government if they can see anything for the promise that they promise us, make them do small about it. So that we masses were happy to them, and we are God are blessing them, and we are continue praying for their blessing.
In many parts of the country, the scenario is similar, with a lot of the water here traced to boreholes and wells. Individuals who have given up on public water meet their needs through this alternative means. However, the sighting of boreholes and wells have made topics of discourse.
The location of, boreholes, wells, very, very important, because, there could be pollution of the water underground. Although most boreholes come from very deep, from very close to the earth surface, very deep down the earth, So, but there is still that danger of, pollution by dump sites. Some of the chemicals that infiltrate down the earth, So, but that poses more danger, to people who are using wells, because wells come from a lower surface, They are very, very, very at risk of being polluted by toilets, by dump sites. That's why when we talk about sanitary wells, we are talking about wells that are well positioned, they are uphill, and at least 30 meters away from any source of pollution, like the toilet, like the dump site, So it is real. Wells can be polluted by toilets, can be polluted by dump sites, even borehole too. But it depends on the depth of the borehole. If they went so deep, that may be a little bit avoided, but not entirely. So, but in Lagos, where the water table is so low, it's difficult, not to avoid the pollution of groundwater, because the water table is so low. If you dig a little bit, you get water. So in Lagos, I can assure you that most boreholes that are sited very close to dump sites and toilets, they are polluted and not safe for drinking or for use for domestic purposes.
When we're inspecting facilities that have boreholes, like even the bottling companies, the manufacturing outfits that use water, our inspection starts from the gates, from the reception of their raw materials. So everything that you use within the system is also inspected. So in the course of inspection, and we find such, we advise them against it to relocate. And we give them, because we also do what we call checks. We pick samples of those water to also check whether, maybe the location at that particular point has any influence or effect on the quality of the water. So when we find such things, we also advise them to relocate the water. So I think even the water quality, the standard for quality drinking water quality, the water resources people, the water boards, the states are also advised and encouraged to use the standard to do their own, carry out their own compliance activities.
In various affected states, governments have heard the groanings of citizens who struggle with access to potable water for various reasons. Many have now begun work which they say will deal with impediments to potable water in mostly rural parts of their states.
Yes, we've not done well in the past, but we cannot continue to talk about the past. We are designing a new system where the water sector will work holistically. Not just this administration. We want a situation where the water sector will work for at least another 50 years without breaking down. How do we mean? You know, it costs absolute money to produce drinking water, potable water, clean water. So now what we did, because the drilling of the states, we don't have much in the states. So what we did was to woo the donor agencies with giving them a good proposal, what we want to do, what we want to achieve. Thank God today we have engaged Abia water sector in 2 or 3 different projects.
The facilities cannot produce enough to meet the water demand of the metropolis. So the government felt that there's the need for expansion, and we are right now on the expansion processes. We have a World Bank assistance, and we have almost concluded on the major consultancies, and we are about to launch the rehabilitation and expansion of the facilities, not only to meet the current demand of the metropolis, but also to meet projected demand up to their 2025, or if the resources are adequate, up to their 2037.
If you can give people water, you make them healthy. If you can give people potable water, you can put an end to kids going out early in the morning to streams to look for water, cutting their school time, reducing their capacity to absorb and retain knowledge.